everyone. Hope you are doing good. I'm once again here. Why? Because today we are talking about something that stays behind closed doors in most Indian homes. Few of us has suffered from it. Few of us are experiencing. We call it sanskar, values. We call it respect. But sometimes it feels like a heavy weight we can't carry anymore. It's the reality of toxic parenting, the truth of society, the another face of society. Sometimes it is revealed, sometimes not. It's not about bad parents, it's about hurt parents. Even in India, toxicity often looks like overprotection. It's considered as a golden case. Who likes to be in case? No matters. It's golden. And there is a common saying behind it. माँ बाप कभी गलत नहीं होते. Parents can never be wrong. हमने तुम्हारे लिए इतनी कुर्बानी दी. We sacrificed so much for you. These are common things we faced. There is a basic psychology behind it. This is emotional indebtedness. Emotional indebtedness. And it creates a lifelong loan the child feels they must pay back with their own happiness. A lifelong loan, what the child feels after that. And if we see it as a celebrity perspective, you all watched Tare Zameen Par. So think about Amir Khan's character in Tare Zameen Par. Are the pressures discussed by Deepika Padukone regarding mental health? How the perfect Indian child image can break a person inside. Yes, it can break a person inside. This is a perspective by celebrities. What is the mirror of society? There should be a mirror of society, but there is a stigma of society. And what is societal stigma? That is, log kya kahenge? Our goal is understanding the culture. Why we should understand? Why we should experience these all things? Because there is a comparison syndrome, famous comparison syndrome. शर्मा जी का बेटा, गुप्ता जी का बेटा. For example, we see you score 90%, but the first question is how much did the topper get? How much did the topper get? And now your score, your 90%. Your 90% is invalid now. And what the psychologist said, psychology said this is external validation. Many Indian parents see their children as extensions of themselves, not as separate individuals. Why don't we consider them? They are different from us. If you fail, they feel they have failed in society. Why it is? There is a problem of set boundaries, set boundary rule. What is? In Indian scenario, privacy is often seen as secrecy. Privacy is not allowed thing. Why? You are secreting something. You are hiding something. A mother reading a diary. It's an example. I'm giving you an example. How privacy is secrecy. Why it is considered. How is it considered? A mother reading a diary or a father choosing a career path for his 22-year-old. Why mother is reading a diary? Now her child is 22 years old. Now her child is grown up. Why their father choosing a career path? They can choose. Even they can suggest. They get suggestion, and that should be. But you shouldn't impose their career choice. You shouldn't impose your words. Accept external validation, accept boundary problem. There is a soft inside. Explain that in a collectivist culture like ours, the we always trumps the I. And it shows there is no individuality. This makes setting boundaries feel like an act of rebellion or betrayal. Is there any betray? No, not exactly. Why we is always victorious? Why there is no validity of an individual? Why I is alone? I should be significant. It shouldn't be dramatic, but still, I is alone. Did you internalize your voice? Is there your goal identifying the long term for your own good becomes a tool for gaslighting? And when a child expresses hurt, the parent responds with, after all we did for you, this is how you treat us. There is a guilt trip for children. Guilt trip. Our children always suffer with the guilt trip. Where is the inner critic in itself? Even when you move out or grow up, that critical parental voice stays in your head. You become your own toughest taskmaster. What is celebrity inside? I hope you all heard about it. Ranbir Kapoor has often spoken about the distant or stern relationship with his father, Rishi Kapoor, highlighting how traditional Indian fatherhood often lacks emotional vulnerability, leaving sons feeling they have to earn love through success. If you are successful, you are being loved, as Ranbir Kapoor accepted it. Now we will discuss about the path to gentleman detachment. What is a roadmap for healing? It's not a constant thing that is going to happen always. What should our goal towards? Our goal should be providing a roadmap for healing. First and foremost, breaking the cycle. The first step is not changing your parents, which might be impossible. It's not a possible task. You can't change your parents. It's changing your reaction to them. You have to change your reaction to your parents. Second, the gray rock method. It's a psychological technique for dealing with toxic people. Being as uninteresting and unreactive as a gray rock so they lose the hook to manipulate your emotions. And no, third one is saying to reframe. And what is that? Instead of obedience is respect. You just try honesty is respect. You should be honest, not obedient. Not obedient every time. Where honesty needed, you should be honest. And that is soft closing. You can love your parents and still disagree with them. Yes, it is possible. You can be grateful for their sacrifices and still choose a different life. Healing doesn't mean you are a bad son or daughter. It means you are becoming a healthy adult. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Once again, I'm repeating my own thing. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You can't carry the burden. If you carry the burden, you will never meet success. And here is a simple story of 28 years old Ananya and his mother Meera. The soft amber glow of a Mumbai sunset filtered through the lace curtains of a quiet apartment in Bandra. Inside, 28 years old Ananya sat across from her mother Meera. For 20 years, their relationship had been a series of unspoken rules and sacrificial silences. How painful it is. There was a relationship, but it's a series of unspoken rules, sacrificial silences. But today the air felt different. Ananya was not there to argue, she was there to tell a story. Ananya is telling story. The inheritance of silences. The story is the inheritance of silences. Just wait. Soft, meditative, calm, serene. Have you ever noticed how in Indian homes love is often served on a plate of fruit or a hot paratha, but rarely expressed in words? Yes, it happens. They love us, and their love is in the face of good eating, a very nice living standard. It happens, it always happens. So the story begins. Ananya looked at her mother's hand, worn from years of making sure everyone else's needs were met. In India, we worship the sacrificing mother, but here is the psychological truth. A mother who sacrifices her entire identity often expects her child to be her second chance at life. Think of Deepika Padukone, who has been so vocal about her depression. She once mentioned how her mother was the first to recognize it. That is the amazed moment. When a parent stops seeing you as a trophy and starts seeing you as a human being in pain. Yes, exactly. They are our parents. They should feel our pain. There is a story, not only Ananya, but it is called Ghar Ghar Ki Kahani. How it is Ghar Ghar Ki Kahani. And the specific thing is what captures, what is the core value, what is the core theme. Martyrdom complex. And that complex defines many Indian households. Here is a psychological and conversational manner. Let us break down the layers of the sacrificing mother and why that amazed moment of recognition is so transformative. The story behind a sacrificing mother, the martyrdom complex. In Indian scenario, a mother's worth is often measured by what she gives up because she is a lady, and ladies always give up their happiness, give up their own things, her hobbies, her career, her favorite food, and even her sleep, all are sacrificed at the altar of family. It's a kind of fabrication of a woman's life. A psychological shadow works there. When a person empties their own cup to fill others, they don't do it for free. Even if they think they do, but subconsciously, an emotional leisure is created. The emotional leisure of sacrificing. It has been created. How? Look at it. If a mother couldn't become a doctor, she doesn't just want her child to be a doctor. She needs to it justify her own lost years. The child stops being a person and starts being a proxy of her unfulfilled dreams. Yes, the children starts being a proxy of their unfulfilled dreams. That is called the second chance, and it is the weight on the child. The child feels if I fail, my mother's sacrifice was for nothing. This leads to chronic anxiety and a paralyzing fear of failure. One side there is a trophy, and on the other side there is a humanity. There is a human being. For years, the relationship is transactional. The parent provides sacrifice, and the child provides pride. Sacrifice versus pride, and it is the phase of trophy. The parents talks about the child's grades, their job at a multinational company, or their marriage into a good family trophy shelf. They are at the breaking point. This is where the Deepika Padukone example is so powerful. Depression is the ultimate cracks in the trophy. It is the moment the child can no longer perform. What is the amazed moment? It's only a shift in perception. The word amazed here refers to the shock and awe of true realization. It's a perceptual shift, the shift from evolution to empathy. Usually, if a child sad, a toxic parent might say, why are you crying? You have everything. Look at how much we did it for you. It's a lack of empathy. And that is the difference. They evaluate the things, they forgot to empathize. And the moment of grace, it is that is called the amazed moment. The amazed moment happens when the parent drops the script. They look at the child and realize my child is suffering and my expectations are the cause. The humanization. Humanization is the birth of a healthy relationship. When the parents accepted, the parent accepts that their child is a separate, fragile human being with their own limits, not an extension of the parent's ego. They want to get rid of that situation. What is the wound? Where is the wound? In psychological term, we call this enmeshment. There is no clear boundaries where the mother ends and the daughter begins. Is there any boundary? Who can understand the boundary? Is there any end line for the mother? Is there any beginning point for the daughter? You know the phrase, I did everything for you, so you must listen to me. What is that? What's rubbish? The truth is that you have to do. I choose to do things for you, but your life belongs to you. That should be the point. Instead of saying I did everything for you, so you must listen to me. You try to amaze the perspective. You try to say I choose to do things for you, but your life belongs to you. Instead of saying instead of saying your failure makes me look bad in society, you have to say, you try to say, your struggle matters more to me than what society thinks. Let it go. You can say that. You can amaze the children instead of burden of failure. You don't have to say, why are you depressed? You have a house, you have a car, you have all the things you want, you have all the things you need. But still, you have to say, you should say, I see that you are in pain and I am here to listen. not to judge. We all need a person. We all need fellows who don't judge us, who listen us. And that should be parents. Why other one? The rule of wisdom. What is it exactly? There is a beautiful saying that counters the sacrifice trap. You can't pour from an empty cup. Yes, you can't pour from an empty cup. When Ananya looks at her mother's own hands, she is not just seeing love, she is seeing the cost of her own existence. The healing begins when the child realizes they don't have to pay for those hands by sacrifices their own life. And the parent realizes that their worn hands were a gift, not a golden handcuff. A soft psychological reflection. The transformative things. To love someone is to see them as they are, not as you want them to be. For an Indian parent, seeing their child as a human in pain rather than a trophy of success is the most spiritual and psychological growth they can ever achieve. It is the moment the toxic becomes transformative. We all grew up with a ghost in our house. He didn't have a face, but he had a name. Sharma Ji ka beta. He was faster, smarter, and more obedient than us. Psychologically, this constant comparison creates a scarcity mindset. We grow up believing that love is a prize to be owned, not a right to be felt. It's why so many of us are overachievers who are secretly burnout. We are not running towards success, we are running away from the fear of being less than in our parents' eyes. What is the celebrity mirror? Even the stars we admire carry these shadows. Look at Ranbir Kapoor, he has spoken about the fear he felt for his father, the late Rishi Kapoor. It was not lack of love, but lack of friendship. And in Indian scenario, we are taught that fear is equal to respect. But psychology tells us that fear actually shuts down the part of the brain responsible for connection. When you are afraid of your parents, you are not respecting them. You are just protecting yourself from them. Yes, in the case of Ananya, back in that Bandra apartment, Ananya did something brave. She didn't shout. She simply said, Ma, I know you gave up your dreams for me, but I cannot carry the guilt of your sacrifice anymore. I need to be my own person to truly love you. There was a long silence. Then Meera did something amazed. She didn't get angry. She didn't say, Log kya kahenge. She simply exhaled, as if a weight of 30 years had dropped. She realized that by clutching her daughter so tight, she was crushing the very thing she loved. This is a deep dive exploration, soft, clinical thing. You never have a golden case. You never be a shadow. You have to come out from the virus लोग क्या कहेंगे, the Sharma Ji ka beta syndrome. If there were a national sport in India, it wouldn't be cricket. It would be comparison. Hannah, amazing thing. Look at Rahul. He got into IIT. Look at Priya. She's married and has a house. Psychologically, this is called triangulation. Instead of a direct relationship between parent and child, a third party. It, it is either neighbor, the cousin, the topper. The third party is brought into shame the child. When a parent says, what will people say? What they are actually saying is, my social status is more important than your mental peace. And it is the gaslighting of sanskar. In our culture, gaslighting has a very specific flavor. It is wrapped in tradition. And you know, the phrase, हमने तुम्हारे लिए इतनी कुर्बानी दी, we sacrificed so much for you, and the psychological reality. This is emotional blackmail. By highlighting their sacrifices, parents make the child feel that having a personal boundary in an act of ingratitude. How? Imagine a 24, 25 years old woman who wants to move to a different city for a job. The parents don't say no. They say, your father's blood pressure has been high since you mentioned this. You know, this is a somatic manipulation using health as a leash. How can the daughter think about leaving the city? No, never. सवाल ही नहीं उठता. The shadow of intergenerational trauma. Why do they do it? To heal, we must understand. Most Indian parents of the baby corner or Gen X era grew up in a scarcity mindset. They survived recessions, partitions trauma, and hyper competitive environments. For them, control is equal to safety. If they can control your career, your clothes, and your spouse, they feel they have protected you from the world. They don't realize they are protecting. They are protecting you so much that they are not learning how to breathe. The enmeshed family, it's a psychological concept in Indian society. In India, we don't have boundaries, we have merging. There is no I, only we. Parent says, we decided you will take science. Parent says, we didn't like the trends of yours. We don't like. When the we becomes too heavy, the I begins to wither. And when I wither, what happens? You all know. You all know this leads to what psychologists call learned helplessness. You reach age 30 and realize you don't know how to make a decision because the committee of elders has always made them for you. Yes, it's true. Amir Khan's Tare Zami Par was a cultural earthquake because it showed the amazed moment when a father realizes his discipline was actually destruction. It reminded us that every child has a different frequency, but Indian parenting often tries to force everyone into the same frequency modulation. And what is the art of gentle detachment? What followed? What should follow? Breaking the cycle without breaking the family. You have to break the cycle. You have to keep the family. You have to save the family. How do you survive a toxic Indian household when you can't leave, when you don't want to leave? There is a gray rock method. It become an uninteresting as a gray rock when they try to bait you into an emotional argument or a guilt trap. Give short, non-committal answers. Okay, I see. I will think about it. Don't give them the emotional fuel they're looking for. Keep the emotional fuel away. Stop waiting for the shabas, well done, that might never come. Many Indian children spend their whole lives performing for a parent who is capable of expressing pride. You have to be the parent to your own inner child now. You have to be the parent, your own inner child now. And here is a two truth reality. You can hold two opposite truths in your head at once. Truth A is, my parents love me and worked hard for me. Truth B, my parents are emotionally immature, and hurt me. Accepting both allows you to move away from anger and toward pity. And pity is a much easier emotion to manage. Manage the things with pity. You won't have to go for hatred. Think of a banyan tree. It's a magnificent, huge, and ancient. It provides shade to everyone, but nothing grows under a banyan tree. This shade is so thick that no sunlight reaches the ground. To grow, the sapling must eventually find its own patch of sun. away from the shadow of the giant. Yes, to the son who is tired of being a retirement plan, and to the daughter who is tired of being a reputation career, you are allowed to be yourself. You're not a bad child for wanting a boundary. You are simply a human being. Breaking the cycle of toxic parenting is the greatest gift you can give to the next generation. You are the one who stops the trauma for traveling further down the family tree. As Urdu poet Bashir Badr once said, मुसाफिर के रास्ते बदलते रहे मगर शजर अपनी जगह खड़े रहे. The traveler's path kept changing, but the trees stayed in their place. Don't be the tree that refuses to move. Be the traveler who finds a new path. Take care of your heart. Identify the sign. You have a sign of respect or a sign for fear. Recognizing that log kya kahenge is a ghost, not a person. Learning to validate yourself when the home environment is critical. Compassionate distance, loving them from a distance that keeps your mental health intact. Nothing is serious, so you have to be worried for nothing. You have to go in your own way. You have to leave the impact of learning, the impact of recognizing the things. You have to come out from the toxicity and recognize yourself. And that's the end of this live session. I hope you all enjoyed things. And that's true, you will enjoy. You will show your love, your support as earlier you showed. And saying there is a thing I have to say what it is. You have to show your own self. You have to keep only one thing in your mind, that if you are doing good, then you are the person of validity. Who said self validity has nothing? There should be self validity. And I am looking for your comments. I am looking for the things what you want to say and what are the subjects you are thinking about. Take a deep breath. If you grew up in an Indian household, you know that home is a complex word. It is a place last but not the least, to the son who is tired of being a retirement plan, and to the daughter who is tired of being a reputation carrier, you are allowed to be yourself. That would be amazing. With these words, I'm leaving. Good luck to all of you. Shab Khair.